In the 1950s, the Swiss-born photographer Robert Frank toured the entire United States, taking over 28,000 images. From these he distilled his famous book, The Americans. This collection was essentially a photo essay of that continent's zeitgeist. It was later said that he turned flags, automobiles and diners into the American cultural icons of his age. In truth, throughout the work, there's a pervading sense of isolation, even the loneliness, of a people faced with vastness. As a result, he echoed the earlier paintings of Edward Hopper, that similarly gave a feeling of individual separateness in such works as his well-known Nighthawks. For while the artist denied that he had purposely infused this or any of his paintings with the symbols of human isolation and urban emptiness, he did acknowledge that in Nighthawks, unconsciously probably, I was painting the loneliness of a large city. Put simply then, the images of both Frank and Hopper gave no feeling of welcome. Today, surrounded as we are with the enormity of a global pandemic, which we are tackling by keeping apart, we too can suffer the same sense of emptiness and aloneness and alienation. Put directly, these days too give no feeling of welcome. Let's then look for hope from our text from Matthew, because it contains very specific instructions on welcome, the ones we offer and the ones we receive. Let's hear it now. Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me, and anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet as a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person as a righteous person will receive a righteous person's reward. And anyone gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you, that person will certainly not lose his reward. In the current TV documentary series about the tiny principality of Monaco, we hear that you are only welcome when you have at least 1 million in the bank. I suppose it's academic to wonder whether that's pounds, euros or dollars. However, one person who got a right royal welcome was the ambassador from France, because it didn't matter what he owned personally, only who he represented. Let us then offer welcome as ambassadors. That means we should welcome all fellow believers as fellow citizens in the spectral principality. We should remember all words spoken are in the spirit of God's welcome. Even more importantly, we need to remember that the Master we represent not only universally welcomed the rich and poor, but universally embraces all who craves his company. Let's also receive the welcome of prophets, since in welcoming others we will hear many things. In the welcome of others we will also hear many things. In particular, when we are failing to find the right way, others may direct us. When the faithful way is beyond us, others will help us set foot on it. When we feel the isolation of aloneness, others will return us to the community of being with God. And who knows, we might be a prophet to another. Taking 2 years to traverse the USA on his photographic searching, Robert Frank later wrote that he occasionally suffered anti-Semitism. Indeed, in one small town, the sheriff gave him an hour to leave town. It has to be said that wasn't a great welcome. He also documented the racial divisions of the South and the segregation by wealth. So finally, we need to welcome as lookouts. Since those who are financially well off are constantly looking out for a good deal, we too must welcome the least, for they have the most to receive from the support of Christ. Moreover, we have the most to gain from finding those lost in a disinterested and disparate world, because together our best interests are served in welcoming a renewed communion of mind and body and spirit. since that is the timeless way of rebranding the church. So perhaps then this somewhat empty day has one important call to us, and that is, in faith, to offer a universal welcome. And how do we do that? Not from our own thoughts, emotions and impulses certainly, rather we do it as ambassadors, looking to separate out no one. Prophets looking out for the very embodiment of God's embrace, and observers for Christ who always hears and always sees, because then alone we will show the truth of our understanding of Robert Frank's famous words. The eye should learn to listen before it looks. Amen.